Okay. Anyone with questions can ask. Yvette has raised her hand.
Yeah. Just wanted to ask the person who was sitting and cowering and worrying that someone was going to kill them the whole rest of their life. Wasn't that a person who doesn't go to the Ir Miklat? You said it was someone who was shogeg but was close to Mazid.
Yeah.
Who doesn't go to the Ir Miklat? Okay.
Yeah. So he doesn't go, and I was using that as a prototype for saying that you could view the same thing as if you had someone who left the Ir Miklat, he would be in the same situation, and that would be his punishment. Knowing that the fact that the halacha says it's reshut, as opposed to, let's say, Rabbi Eliezer, who says the Goel Adam can't kill him, right? Says you can't do anything to him. Just because I left Ir Miklat doesn't mean you have rights. But Rabbi Akiva says, no, he has permission. And that's going to cause me basically to stay in the Ir Miklat. It's a way of enforcing my staying in this Ir Miklat so that I don't try to go out. I'll live my life miserable, always worrying. And that itself is kind of a punishment, as opposed to just looking at the protection element. You see how his existence, his mere existence, is punishment for me, because that's torturous.
Can I ask
Sure.
whether there were other people that went along to the Ir Miklat, such as the family of the Rotzeach or learning colleagues? I have it somewhere in the back of my mind that I once heard that a Rebbe would go along with his Talmud.
Yes. So the sources talk about the Rav going. They say that a Rav is the sustenance of this person, and the Rav goes. Again, practically speaking, I don't really see how that works, because what about all his other students? I think there's some things that are conceptually ideas, but I don't think that they actually practically really happened. That's my sense. It doesn't really talk about in the sources, you go with your family, like your wife. Seems for here, you do leave your family. I don't know what family that means. If that means your bigger family or your nuclear family, it's really not talked about, which is strange because it's a real basic question. But, I looked through the Rambam to see if he discusses it anywhere, and nowhere. Like he discusses the Rav and but he doesn't discuss the family going. Could be you really go by yourself. Becky, you're on mute.
What does it mean, kol adam? Anybody, any random person?
What it really means is if some random person were to kill you, they wouldn't get the death penalty. Like, I'll give you an example. If I was sentenced to death and I wasn't yet killed by the Beit Din, and you killed me, you wouldn't get the death penalty because I'm a dead woman, right? I've a note on my head, supposed to be killed by the court. So likewise, that's what it means, ein lo dam. But again, ein lo dam, we translate it in different ways, right? Is it just because the goel adam could kill you? So theoretically, you could have been killed by someone else and it would have been allowed and therefore they're not liable? Or is it really because you're now liable, the death penalty, taking the Sefer HaChinuch and the way the Grizz understood the Rambam, in taking it into saying that maybe you're really liable the death penalty at that point. Because your protection of the Ir Miklat, and as using protection a different way, it's protecting you from this looming over you. By the way, one of the greatest proofs for this theory, I think, I didn't get to mention it in class, but sorry, I went over in general, but I just wanted to really wrap everything up, is this, at the end of the section in Bamidbar, there's these two fascinating psukim. It says, "V'lo tikhu kofer lenefesh rotzeach asher hu rasha lamut kimot yuma." We actually learned it in Tubok, for those who learned it, might remember. You can't take ransom, okay? We can't pay your way out of a death penalty. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. But the next pasuk is, "V'lo tikhu kofer lenusel ir miklato." You also can't pay your way out of Ir Miklat. Which again, it makes these things sound so parallel, as if these two are so severe that they cannot be replaced by anything else. You can't pay, right? We always pay our way out, right? There's bail, you always think I could pay my way out of things, and you can't. This is something absolutely not. And then it goes on further to say, you're going to destroy the land. You're going to contaminate the land because there's blood. The fact that blood is being spilled for no good reason, and an accidental murder is part of that. The only way to redeem, to atone for blood is to have blood spilled, which sounds crazy, right? It's so not our modern way of thinking. but it's saying you deserve the death penalty. And it's really, again, it sounds like it's talking about Rotzach b'mezid, an intentional murder, but it's in the middle of these psukim that's also talking about Rotzach b'shkaga. So I think that that's very strong. Again, it's all Bamidbar. In Devarim, it's very different, but each one is highlighting a different element of what's going on here. And again, it seems like as long as you're in the Ir Miklat, you're okay. But you leave that Ir Miklat, you're basically saying, I don't care that I spilled blood. And because you say, I don't care that I spilled blood, you now deserve to die. Again, like I'm saying, it's one way of looking at it. Not everybody views it that way, but I think it's the way it's definitely a possible way to read the Rambam, very interestingly.
What does he do in the Ir Miklat? Does he work? What does he do in the Ir Miklat? Does he do?
Yeah, I don't have all the answers. I think he worked. I assume he works.
I mean, someone has to say.
These are questions that they don't get into all these details of what goes on, the practicalities of it. They're more interested in the concepts and what this is all about.
No, I am too. I would just like to know how his wife is going to be supported.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
No, like it would be, I would like to know how many people actually went to these Arei Miklat, how much populated were they with accidental murders? There were other people living in these cities as well. It wasn't the only population. Was there a guard at the door, at the exit? Was there a barbed wire fence around? We don't know all these answers of what it really looked like. But yeah, good questions.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else?
Anybody else? By the way, it also is a woman. A woman can be a goel dam or no? Yes?
Sure. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Right.
No, she accidentally murders someone, of course. She has to go just like anyone else.
No, can she be a goel dam?
Oh, can she be goel adam? Oh, that's interesting. It's actually interesting. The Rambam says it would have to be, I think it might even be in these sources. It's someone who's yoresh, who inherits you. So I would think that would basically exclude the women because they didn't inherit.
Mm-hmm.
So unless it's like the daughter, maybe.
If there aren't any sons.
What?
If there aren't any sons.
Right, exactly. If there aren't sons, then possibly she could be, I guess. So here it says, where does he say it? That's probably here. No, it might be at the end. Here, he says it in Parak Aleph of Hilchot Rotzach, Halacha Bet. Goel Adam hu yamit et harotzach, but kol ha'ro'eh liyerusha hu goel hadam. So anyone who inherits. So I guess you could claim that if it was a daughter who was the only daughter, there were only girls, then maybe they could be a goel adam. It's a good question. Or, again, I think societally it probably wasn't what was happening. They probably found a brother to be the one.
What about a
brother of, like an uncle or someone who was a farther inheritor, but I would guess. I don't know.
We talk about a wife being the inheritor?
A wife doesn't inherit her husband.
That's true.
Sons inherit the husband.
Sons do, right?
Yeah.
Right.
By Torah law. Okay.
Right.
Anything
Go
else?
to sleep. See you tomorrow. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
We're getting to learn
Thank
together. Enjoy going into breakout rooms and having more private conversations with people.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice. And I hope you join Rabbanit Leah's class next week. It's really, she's got an excellent course planned. It's really kind of taking everything from last time and taking it farther, more in depth. She'll be talking also about the way we talked a lot about, this is how they use this kind of word. And these are the methods that they deal with. It'll be very helpful. Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Take
you
care.
very much.
Ciao, ciao.
Echo.